Exiting Irwindale. He's gonna head south, Jim. From right here, he's turning, exiting off the freeway, right next to the Miller plant. Perfect. Irwindale. Surface streets in Irwindale. Ten four. 2 minutes. Yeah, he was going 100 earlier. Yeah. One minute. Yeah, still, yeah, he's actually going to be entering Covina here shortly. 10 cents. And live on Telemundo. That's exactly right, Robert. News Chopper 4 Alpha was the first news helicopter over this pursuit that, as you said, started about 20 minutes ago or so in the Azusa area. It was the Azusa Police Department that attempted to pull over this armed and dangerous suspect, and the suspect took off at a very high rate at that, approximately 100 miles an hour on the freeway. He was on the 605 freeway to begin with, headed south, coming away from the 210 freeway. He then exited, or rather took the 60 freeway where he exited at Santa Anita Avenue, and then took Santa Anita Avenue over to the 10 freeway. He took that until he rejoined the 605, then got on the 210 East where he exited in Irwindale, and that is where we find ourselves now on surface streets here in the area. He is currently on Arrow Highway at approximately 50 miles an hour. You see the airship there overhead keeping track of him from above, and of course we have those units directly behind this guy as well. It was a failure to yield at the beginning, and then some of the information that we gathered over the police scanner as this pursuit went on was that this suspect was considered armed and dangerous. But what is unclear is whether that was the reason that the Azusa Police Department tried to pull him over, or if perhaps they pulled him over for something else, and after running the plates on the vehicle, it was at that point that they realized that this suspect was also an armed and dangerous suspect. And when we say armed and dangerous, that just adds a whole nother level to this pursuit, because it means that the suspect may in fact have some type of weapon, which means that the officers are going to be more gentle about how they approach this pursuit when it does come to an end, and it also may affect whether or not they attempt a pit maneuver at any point. Yeah, let's try to answer each of those questions as we go here. I'll start off by saying what type of car it is. We haven't gotten the make and model of it yet, but clearly it is a smaller vehicle, rather, a white sedan. It's unclear how many people may be in the car. We, of course, know for sure that there is one person, but there really hasn't been too much information as to whether or not there are any passengers in the vehicle. To go back to the car, those windows are very tinted, so it's been difficult for us to get a good look at how many people may be inside. But when he makes these turns, that may be my opportunity to take a peek into that front windshield and see whether or not anybody else is in there. I'm going to go ahead and see what I can see right now as he comes here, but we have a little bit of exhaust here from the news helicopter, so I'm going to wait a little bit until that clears out, and then we're going to try to take another peek inside to see whether or not there's anybody else inside at this point. But again, at least one person inside, we know that for sure. They're referring to him as a male, so we will stick with that as well. And again, this is a pursuit that started in the Azusa area. It was the Azusa Police Department that was in pursuit, and once this pursuit got to the highway, that is when they asked for the California Highway Patrol to take over. And pardon us here for just a moment, the vehicle will be coming right under us, but they did ask for the California Highway Patrol to take over because this pursuit had made its way to the highways. And once I get a visual here of the units directly behind this guy, I'll be able to confirm exactly which agencies are still following this pursuit. 3 o'clock. Yes, so he is actually on Arrow Highway, and the last cross street I got was Gladstone. So Gladstone, Arrow Highway, two major thoroughfares actually here through the area. And some of the nearest highways, for those of you who are more familiar with our highway system instead, is going to be the 210 freeway directly to our north, and then the 57 freeway is going to be just to our east. And there you see that one unit directly behind this guy. I'll use this as an opportunity to zoom in here and verify which agency is directly behind this guy. And from what I can see here, it's not going to be the California Highway Patrol, so I believe it is still the Azusa Police Department that is directly behind this guy. So he's currently headed eastbound on Arrow Highway. So he's actually, if he continues in this general direction, this pursuit started in Azusa. It wouldn't be out of the question for him to turn north at any point and head back towards Azusa. So he's generally still in the same area as where the pursuit began. Correct. 605 freeway, and he was actually headed south when we first heard about it. Southbound 605. He took that to the 60, and then he exited, got off of off on Santa Anita rather, and then took that until he joined the 10 freeway, and then got back on the 605 northbound this time. Then went on the eastbound 210 freeway where he exited at Irwindale, and he is yet to get back on since we went live with the pursuit. He's been on surface streets, but just before that he was on the highway, and when he was on the freeway he was going approximately 100 miles an hour. Now that he's on surface streets, he's slowed his roll just a little bit. Approximately 50 miles an hour is what he's averaging at this point as he makes his way through a residential area here. I'll get you the streets here. This is going to be Gladstone yet again with a cross of Rockvale Avenue. Yeah, this is going to be Gladstone. Yeah, but back into a residential area. And whenever a pursuit comes through a residential area, just based off of our previous experience with pursuits, a lot of suspects tend to return to a residential area that is familiar to them. And there's a couple reasons why they do that. One reason is that they hope they can lose the police if the suspect is in fact more familiar with this area than they are. And then the other thing is they know where all of the cul-de-sacs are. So they know that if they're in an area that is familiar to them, they're not going to drive themselves into a dead end. Plus, if this is an area where they live, they always have the opportunity to abandon the vehicle, take off running, run into their home, run into a friend's home, and then seek refuge there and then have it turn into a barricade situation. So we've seen that happen time and time again. Can't guarantee that this is a situation that is happening here, but I can tell you that for the most part, he seems to be circling the same general area. Let me go ahead and widen out the shot here, Robert, so that we can count them together here. I see at least 4. Yeah, it looks like we have 4, and it looks like we have a couple of undercover units directly behind the ones with the light bar, the black and whites. And then in addition to that, we do have the police helicopter overhead. So even if this guy is able to lose the cruisers that are directly behind him, the chances that that airship is going to lose him are going to be very slim. So this guy is just better off giving up. We hope, of course, that it comes to a peaceful resolution. But for now, continuing northbound here on Citrus Avenue, getting back into the Azusa area. He's actually just north of it at this point. He's on a street called Alosta Avenue. He turned off of Citrus, so he's just north of the 210 freeway. So at any point, he's able to just basically hang a left-hand turn and head southbound and rejoin that 210 freeway if that's something he chooses to do. But for now, he is continuing, going to be merging onto Foothill Boulevard here, which is, of course, a street that a lot of people will be familiar with here in the area, as it is a major thoroughfare that runs just adjacent to the 210 freeway. The speeds now have slowed down significantly compared to the freeway speeds, but he's still going about 60 miles an hour, and you see that unit getting very close. I can't remember off of the top of my head, though, whether or not the Azusa Police Department is a PIT-authorized department. Not all departments are. Of course, we know that the California Highway Patrol is, and they were asked to take over this pursuit earlier. However, now that it's on surface streets, they are very unlikely to do that. If the pursuit were to find its way back onto the freeway, then the CHP could take over then, and then at that point the pit maneuver could come into place. But just off the top of my head, I can't quite remember whether or not the Azusa Police Department is in fact PIT authorized. Yeah, so he's actually on a smaller street now, but it basically runs parallel to Foothill rather. This is 9th Street. He's headed westbound now on 9th Street. It's a smaller little street, but he's slowed down significantly. So this is really interesting that he's slowing down so much. It's Dalton with a cross of 9th Street. He's on 9th right now. You see what the officers are doing there. They're getting ready to perform a high-risk traffic stop, which is why you see them opening their door there, because this is the slowest we have seen this guy go. This could possibly be the end of it, and if in fact we do see him stop, we'll widen out the shot just a touch until we feel comfortable about what is going on. But he definitely does appear to be coming to a stop here on 9th Street, just west of Dalton. That's a really great question, Colleen, but I actually haven't heard them mention whether or not they have deployed any. But that would be a great explanation as to why he may have slowed down, but I can't confirm that in fact he has hit one. You see, though, he has come to a complete stop here. 9th Street with a cross of Alameda. You see all of the officers getting into place, using their vehicles for protection, because as you mentioned, this is an armed and dangerous suspect. That adds a whole nother level of danger to this pursuit termination. Yeah, these homes are very close. We have homes on either side, and that always makes for a dangerous situation because you have people who are hearing the sirens and they come out and take a peek at to what's going on, and that could lead to a crossfire situation, of course. So if you do live in the area of Alameda and 9th Street in the Azusa area, please stay inside until this situation gets resolved, and continue to watch it here on NBC4 and on our streaming site as well. Again, this vehicle coming to a complete stop, and I'm starting to see the driver open his door. I don't see his hands just yet, and once I do, I'll feel a lot more comfortable about zooming in here. But I'm starting to see the person climb out. As soon as I see those hands, I'll feel more comfortable about pushing in on the shot. But we are starting to see them here. He is starting to step away from the vehicle. He is getting very careful instructions from the officers as to how they want him to continue on. They will first ask him to toss the keys, because that will completely keep him from continuing this pursuit. And then they will ask him to step out of the vehicle, raise his hands, widen out his legs, and at one point you will see them ask him to raise his shirt, because what they want to see is his waistband. They want to make sure that there is nothing on his person that could potentially hurt them. I actually am starting to see another set of hands, Robert, just on the passenger side. So once we see them take the suspect into custody, we will see the secondary person climb out as well. And there may be even there's the possibility that there could be somebody in the back. I believe this type of vehicle, it looks like a Chevy now that I'm looking at it a little closer. It will have rear row seats, so there's the possibility still that there may be more than that one additional passenger in the vehicle. Exactly. It's all about security. Time is on the officer's side, so they are going to treat this as slowly and as methodically as possible, just to make sure that none of their officers or any of the civilians in the area could potentially be hurt in any way. So what we're going to see next, as you said, Colleen, now the call-outs are going out to that passenger or passengers if there's more. So we will see the same actions that we saw from the driver now with the passenger. He or she will open the door and then step away from the vehicle with his or her arms straight up into the air in sight of the police officers at all times. Ten, 4, 230 back. Uh-oh. What's going on? Two minutes. I do. Go ahead. It was the passenger just now. She went out the driver's seat for some reason. One minute back. Okay, 10-4. Ninth and Alameda in Azusa. For picks. On the microwave jack, sorry. They still have to clear it. Azusa PD, I don't pick up on the scanner. I think it's encrypted, so I can't know for sure what they're thinking. Yeah, I can't hear them at all. I'm just, sometimes CHP will give out a tidbit of information about it, but right now I'm guessing they just aren't sure yet if there's anyone else inside. Let's see. I'm going to use my infrared, though, actually. I may be able to see a little better with that. Okay, here we go. Oh, there's a kid. All right, there we go. Oh, poor baby. That child is on the other side of the tree, Jim. Oh, there's another child? There's two kids. Yeah, they're just on the other side of this tree. Okay, here, I got them. No worries. They're moving them. Yeah. Sorry, we're coming around. You can hold anywhere here, Jim. Okay. Okay, 10-4. For those of you who continue to watch us on the web, you can see that there were in fact passengers in this vehicle. In addition to the female suspect that was sitting in the front, there were two small children in the back. They both appear to be little girls. You see them there with the officers. It's really a sad situation when you think about it, that whoever the parents are, whoever the suspect and the female were in the front, were driving at 100 miles an hour at times with these two little girls in the back. It was simply such a dangerous situation, and it really ended in the best way possible. The suspect simply pulled over here in Azusa and was taken into custody. And for a little while there, it was unclear what was taking the police officers so long to approach the vehicle, and it was in fact because they thought there was somebody inside. And of course, when they opened up those rear doors, that is when they discovered these two little girls. Again, now safely in the custody of these two officers, and the two adults that were with them are now in police custody. At least one of them, it's unclear which one, whether the male or the female, is an armed and dangerous suspect. A pursuit that started in Azusa with the Azusa Police Department, made its way onto the 210 freeway, the 60, the 10, and the 605, finally ending up here on the streets of Azusa, just north of 10 freeway. And now you see these two little girls being placed into the back of this police SUV.